And everyone is dead. Hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with episode 6 of Devil May Cry. And last time, things didn't exactly go so well. In fact, you could say things went pretty much as badly as they possibly could. Because pretty much everyone is dead. All of the refugees were killed because of Baines and his bullshit. The enemies are just getting away with like everything, even if they're being killed themselves. It's just everything is going wrong. And it's really starting to breed this like level of hopelessness that's really harshing things, to put it simply. It's like over this past week, having the time to think about the past episode and all, it just really kept coming into my mind how like emotionally fucked that actually did leave me. Like at the time, I don't think I like had this like intense reaction or anything to it. I was definitely like upset and not like 100% surprised, but at the same time I was upset. But over the past week, it's like that feeling has kind of escalated quite a bit. And I've kind of like gotten really like I haven't been feeling good about it. Let's just put it that way. Um I tend to get like this kind of thing like bothers me like generally speaking whenever it comes to like, murder of innocents in any kind of show or movie or game, etc., etc. Especially when kids are being horrifically violently murdered like that. Um, Not to mention there's certain imagery like with the fire chambers and all, and how that can elicit some ideas that aren't great. It's like it was such an aggressively evil massacre that I've just like been feeling very numb about this since last week. And it sucks because I like this series. I'm really enjoying it, but it's like one of those moments where it's like that did actually affect me more than I realized it had in the moment. Like I'm actually like pretty upset over that. And all of this amongst the entire stuff with the devil trigger and um Mary having to do what she's doing, trying to figure everything out. And then there's the conversation with the white rabbit, of course. It's just like everything is playing so against our heroes and so against just not just humanity in terms of like literally humanity in this case, but like humanity as in like moral code level of things. It's playing so against that, and I know that's the point. I understand that's intentional, but at the same time it's like I just don't I'm not I'm not enjoying that aspect of it. Again, I like this series. I enjoy what they're overall giving to us. But I'm just fucking depressed, man. Like, I don't do well with stuff like that. like I've cried and like gotten really down on myself throughout various movies and shows and stuff on this channel. And there's obviously stuff that I've reacted to that has like affected me a lot worse. Doom Patrol is a great example of that. Also, a great example of a show that I really did enjoy, but could not keep watching because it upset me to such an aggressive degree that I couldn't bring myself to continue on. But with this, it's like it's a very different vibe, obviously. And I don't know. I don't know at this point. And I'm not, by the way, I'm not saying that I'm like thinking of like dropping this like I did with Doom Patrol, or that I'm like not enjoying this or anything like that. I'm not saying that. I do not plan to be dropping this. I am very much enjoying it. It's just one of those cases where like thinking about this over the last week just got me depressed. but but I am interested to see where this goes. We have 3 episodes left, and so hopefully things start to take a little bit of an upturn. Um, Even if at the very least it's just Mary and Dante working together to get revenge and being badasses. I'll take that. So we're gonna get into this. I don't know what's coming next, so ironically enough though, the character I want dead the most now is not the rabbit. It is Baines, like extremely much so. So let's just get into this and hope for the best. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Uh, it's still only May, and obviously I don't know what else is to come from this year for a number of reasons. And in terms of new shows or old shows I'm going to check out, but at least for now, this is I don't want to like jinx myself, because then it's like obviously things will change, but this is probably, again, not even probably, as of current, this is like definitely episode of the year. Not just with Devil May Cry, but with anything I'm watching. From what I've seen this year so far, from any show, cartoon, anime, live action, doesn't matter, it is the best single episode I have watched this year so far. And mind you, if I do end up jinxing myself and more comes from it, that's a good thing. More like really good episodes coming from that would be a good thing, but it's just like, I can't even, like, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to properly express how good that was. Because it's like, it not only gives us further context for Mary, building on what we already had, but it gives all the context for the White Rabbit. It explains his entire backstory and shows that he's a human, by the way. He's not even a demon. Um, and he's just wearing a mask. And explains why he's like so vengeful towards humans to the point of even being willing to sacrifice um, refugees and everything. It's because he's literally insane. He was driven to literal and intense insanity by an extreme moment of trauma. An extreme moment of trauma, on top of the trauma he already had suffered as a kid, in a horrific foster care situation, losing his best friend slash sibling that he had made since going to Mackay, and then the massacre that happens at the hands of Dartcom. It's it's one of those backstories that makes you entirely turn your view on a character around, like in a way that's so unexpected. And I don't know how like accurate this story is to him, like from the comics, because as I've mentioned before, the White Rabbit's apparently from the Devil May Cry comics specifically. Um, I don't know if the origin is the same or if there's like notable changes in any way. Um, but this like isn't Eiichiro Oda supposed to be the king of tragic backstories? Because Jesus, that was One Piece level of tragic backstory. um, that was like, and on top of it, you have like the fact that there's no dialogue for the vast majority of the episode, and you have the two excessively different art styles between Earth and Mackay. It's just the music that was playing, like, it's a goddamn masterpiece. Like, and I mean that. That is a masterpiece of an episode. And it's like I've talked about, like, I've mentioned before that there are certain movies like I find to be perfect, but it's really rare. There's like very few of them, less than 10 out of the thousands I've seen. And it's even rarer for an episode of a show to be perfect to me, because there's so much more that goes into that, like compared to like just a movie. Because an episode of a series has to connect with every other episode and has to be, you know, like really well done in a way to where it does like match up with the other episodes, but also can stand on its own and showcases itself as a piece of art in like various different ways. There's so many aspects to it. And unquestionably, in my mind, this episode ticks all of them. It perfectly connects to previous episodes and is obviously going to connect to the future ones. It connects the rabbit's backstory to Mary's, showing the parallels between them and how they ended up in the positions they've ended up in. It creates sympathy for the main villain of at least the season, allowing us to see from his perspective and just really understanding that in a lot of cases, villains aren't born, they're made. They're made through the horrible atrocities that we see in our world, through influence, through trauma. And some villains are definitely, like, born bad. Well, in media, I have to specify. They're born bad in media, but in real life, it is a matter of nurture rather than nature. And you have, like, the kind of situation where it's hard for a person to. I'm sorry if I'm stumbling over my words and not really, like, grasping what to say right now. I'm just, like, kind of in shock. A lot of times it's hard for a person to come back from that, especially if they've been raised that way their entire life. Not impossible, just difficult. And I like how in media, how in, like, shows and movies and games and whatnot, you can explore things in different ways and you can show villains who are just pure evil. And this is a case where, like, I feel like this is exactly the medium that this works in. I feel like this wouldn't work in a video game. And I also don't feel like it would work in a movie or a comic or anything like that. The reason this worked so well was the combination of everything that made it up. It's not just the visual differences between Earth and Mackay. It's the fact that there's no audible dialogue. It has to specifically be that there's no audible dialogue. The music score over it is instrumental in making this scene as good as it is. It needs that music. Um, on top of that, the movement of the visuals is integral for telling this story. The way the characters move, and the again going with the differences of animation between the two worlds, that's important to this. Not just the art style, the animation itself. It's pretty insane. And there's some aspects of these backstories that I feel like we just don't have all the info on. Like, what happened to Mary's friend? I don't think it showed that, right? Um, Unless I was blanking out because of how awestruck I was. But I think she just kind of, like, came home one day after having, like, played with him and everything, right? So there's a possibility he's still around. Again, unless I missed something completely. But then there's, like, for the White Rabbit's backstory, it's like, did his foster family ever even look for him? Are they still out there? What happens if he comes across them in current day? It's just a lot of interesting questions. I mean, honestly, if he came across them in current day, he'd kill them. Easily. I mean, just because of how, like, literally insane he is. It's it's so unexpected. And it's perfect. And I'm in awe of it. I'm just in awe of how perfect and phenomenal this episode was. And hope I hope that we can get more episodes like this. Not just from this show, but from everything I watch. I would love to see more. I want to be able to be this impressed with episodes of all kinds of different shows. So hopefully that does actually end up happening. But for now, again, I feel like there's a lot more I should and could be able to say, but I just can't find the words right now. This was just perfect. And I'm very excited to end up watching other people's reactions to this episode. Most notably, oh my god, my mind is blanking on his name. Like Omni, Omni Media. I'm definitely excited to see his reaction to this. But all of that being said, thank you so much, as always, for tuning in. I would love to hear your thoughts. Leave them down below. And obviously, no spoilers. We will be doing the final 2 episodes next week, episodes 7 and 8. So yeah, we'll get to that next time. Sorry, I'm just still kind of blown away and in shock. Um, Thank you all so much. For now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.